Hi there.
Well,
Hi.
oh, well, welcome, Patty. I
Hi.
know your name, and I may have even met you at some point on Zoom or in person. I'm just a member.
Okay.
Martha's our chair now, and there she is. She's back.
Hi. I think this is my first time here. So I'm excited.
Okay, well, we're glad you're here. I'm looking for our agenda, which I printed out, except my ink cartridge is dying, so it's spotty. All right, here it goes.
Hi, Patty. I'm Martha Bobber.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hi, Janice.
Hello.
Wait for the rest of the contingent.
I need to tell you that at 7, I have another Zoom meeting. So if we're still going, I need to vanish. And I
Okay, all right.
apologize for that. That's a meeting that only happens 3 times a year. You know, it's sort of an interdepartmental meeting with my congregation, and this is monthly. So unfortunately, they're the same night.
Okay, sounds good. I think they're also maybe historical meeting, so Susan might know about that. Hi, Jessica.
Hi,
How are you?
good. You're gonna get sun glare behind me. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It'll go down.
No, I know, but I like the time change. I like it staying lighter just a little bit longer.
Exactly. Today was a beautiful day. It was so warm.
Oh, I agree. We needed
Yes.
that. I
Yes.
think to keep us going because it's been on up and down, and oh, it's been a funny winter.
It has been. That it has.
I actually finished pruning my raspberry bushes because it was so warm out. I said, I gotta do it now. Because it's probably gonna change. But
Great.
there we go.
Hi, Joanne.
Oh, she
You're
is here.
muted. Still muted. There you go. Hello.
So we're missing.
Susan and Jeanette and,
Susan is here, or you would not be all there.
oh, yay. All right. We just, yes. There's Jeanette.
Hey, Jeanette.
There's Susan. All right. Waiting for Nancy Logan. You're muted, Jeanette. Still muted.
I said, what a
Yeah.
crowd.
Yes, what a crowd. Yes.
Welcome
Good to
back.
see you, Jeanette.
Thank you. Nice to see you all too.
Couple more people. Sarah Fisk, our new public health nurse. Hopefully she's going to join us. And hopefully Nancy Logan. 5:33. I can never figure out lighting, what makes sense and what doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah, you're a bit orange.
I
I
know,
wouldn't too long.
very reddish. Maybe if I turn this thing off. That's worse. It's the backlight, I think. All right.
I'm having some more chai tea.
Oh, that's good.
I haven't had it in like 2 years.
Twice in a day. Well, 5:34.
Who
Should we
wouldn't after 35?
get started?
Yes, if she's late, she's late. That's okay.
Okay. All right, so I'd like to welcome our guest this evening, which is Patty Demers, and she's the Information and Caregiver Resource Center Program Director for LifePath. And thank you very much for coming, Patty. And we need to officially start this meeting. So I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. and we'll do a quick roll call. And then we'd love to hear all that LifePath has to offer.
Thank you.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Bernhard present.
Favre present.
Gray present.
Millinger present. Actually, it should be Makepeace before Millinger. I think Jessica has not been officially made a member yet, has she? Is that correct?
No.
No, I'm just a guest.
Okay.
You're muted.
I know. Stockton present.
All right. Okay. So Patty, we would love to hear what all that your organization LifePath has to offer.
Awesome.
Council on Aging's.
So I do have a PowerPoint. Would I be able to present? Or
Yes.
should I?
Let me share the screen with you.
Okay.
Come on, let me share the screen with you.
Oh, I think I was able.
Can you do it?
I think so.
Hey,
Can you see
Yay.
it? Okay. Let me just. New slideshow. Okay. So I'm here to give a LifePath overview. Has anyone heard about LifePath before? Okay. That's great. So one thing I will say is so we are the access area of aging in Franklin County and the North Quabbin area. Some of our services do extend further. So we do go into Worcester County, Hampshire County, and sometimes Hamden, depending on the type of service. A lot of our services do change. So things that we had a couple years ago, we might not have, or we've changed it, and now we're evolving to kind of fill in all like the blank spots that that we're seeing. So just to share our mission is to ensure all older adults and individuals with disabilities in Western and Central Mass can remain safely in their homes and community. So to start with the Information and Caregiver Resource Center. So that is really the gateway of the agency. That's where the phone calls start, whether it's inquiring about transportation in the area, doctors, anything that someone might have questions on, we're able to help them or direct them in the right place. Our staff is made out of 4 resource consultants, and they're the ones that you're going to be talking on the phone with. And they process all the referrals for the agency. So before you get connected to a program, you'll get connected to a resource consultant first. And part of that, we do outreach in the community. I think outreach is one of the main ways we get a lot of our clients in LifePath. One of the things we're recently doing is we are every month, the first Thursday, we are at the Athol Library, and we have a table there and are there for 2 hours and can take any questions or anyone interested in any of our programs. But with that being said, there's just so much you can do over the phone and talk over the phone. So that's where our options counselors would come in. What they're able to do, they can help anyone of any age, whether it's discussing life path programs, community programs, or getting them in contact with anything they might need. They're able to meet in person at our office in LifePath, over the phone, video. We can be really flexible on how we can meet with people. And one of the biggest things we recently got at LifePath, in February, we got a new grant. It's called the Benefit Enrollment Center. So we're able to help with application assistance. And so that's Mass Health applying for new applications or the recertifications, applying for SNAP and doing the recertifications for SNAP, the fuel assistant applications and the recerts. And then we're also able to help with the Medicare Savings Program. And this one is going to be a big increase because they recently said they're not looking at assets anymore. So we're anticipating a lot of coverage will be able to happen with that program. And one area we're really focusing on is how we can support our caregivers in the community. We do have a couple support groups dedicated to caregivers that are caring for an individual with dementia, and they do meet once a month. And we also have our family caregiver support program. The caregiver counselors are able to meet by phone, in person, or wherever it fits for the individual, and give them and work with the caregiver to either make referrals to LifePath, to look at respite options. We do offer respite scholarships. So we do, we are able to provide a check to a caregiver if they are in need of a vacation and they need the person they're caring for to be covered while they're away. So we are able to facilitate that. And but it's not just respite. We also work with grandparents raising grandchildren and can help pay for camp, whether it's summer camp, February vacation camp. And some of the things we are able to do is just get products. So if we're working with a caregiver who has some physical limitations and they're unable to help with transfers, we could help get a lift chair and things like that. And one of the newer services we have, we got a grant, I believe it was back in September, for the Community Engagement Center. And part of this grant, we were seeing in our area, there's not a lot of adult day healths. And when the one in Greenfield closed, that really impacted a lot of our clients. So at the center in Sunderland, they are able to go, you can go as a caregiver, or you can go as a caregiver with the person that you're caring for, and able to supply them with 2 hours of activity to either just get out of the house or to meet other caregivers that are going through the same thing. So looking at our in-home service overview, I'll start with our adult family care. This is a program that matches. Yeah. Oh, did someone have a question? Okay. So our adult family care program is for anyone 16 and older. It does match you with a caregiver that would get a stipend to provide care for you. Sometimes that's matching a caregiver with a consumer, or sometimes it's a family member that's already doing the work and setting up that pair. We have our home care program, and this is for anyone 60 and older. It it is sometimes sometimes there is a copay. It really depends on someone's income, but if you do have mass health or a form of mass health, then there is no copay for the program. And what this does is we set up services in home, like home health aides, homemaking, help with laundry, meal prep, or any personal care. And we set that up through a third party vendor that we contract with to supply the care. But what we're seeing is in all the areas, there's really a shortage of workers. So under this program, we also have a way that you can hire someone that you know, and they can get paid through a company called Tempest Unlimited. And this way, the consumer themselves are able to get care from someone that they already trust. We have our personal care attendant program. This is a mass health only program, and you have to have a personal care need. This also gives you the opportunity to hire someone you know to assist with the work you need, whether that's assistance with showering, dressing, taking medication, house cleaning, laundry. We do have our clinical services program. We are able to help with dementia coaching or elder mental health outreach. We've recently expanded this program to assist with one of our sister agencies, West Mass, which is located in Holyoke. So we are expanding this because of the mental health crisis. And we do have our protective service department is in-house, and they're able to help with anyone over 60 that's at risk. A way to make a referral is to call the centralized number, and it can be anonymous. So our ombudsman program, this is volunteers that go into the nursing facilities and are able to with the residents to discuss what their goals are, and so they know what their rights are. We have our money management program, and this would match a trained volunteer with a consumer and who need help with either managing their bills, writing checks out, anything that they're unable to do at this point that a trained volunteer would be able to. And we have our Shine program that's able to assist with picking insurances, Medicare or prescription plans. We do have our Meals on Wheels program, which provides lunch and supper meals Monday through Friday. And with this, it also provides a wellness check. So someone does have to be home for the meal. And if they're not, then we would call the emergency contacts before asking a wellness check to be done for the person. So we also work with a couple of the housing authorities in the Greenfield area. We do have housing staff on site to assist with the residents and to also make the appropriate life path referrals if needed. We have Elm Terrace in Greenfield, Thornton Place in Gill, Stratton Manor in Bernston, Highland Village in Shelburne, Squawkey Village in Northfield, Morgan Allen in Greenfield, and Winslow Wentworth in Turner's Falls. I want to just highlight our healthy living classes. This is a free program that anyone of any age can attend. The classes that are being offered now, it's a matter of balance class that's managing concerns about falls, living well with persistent pain, or long-term health conditions, and healthy eating for successful aging. And these classes do change per season. Some are offered in person, some are offered by Zoom, and we often try to switch the locations. I know the Living Well with Persistent Pain was at Athol Hospital for a couple weeks, but we really are trying to get more into the North Quabbin area. And we do have 2 support groups that meet. We have Rainbow Elders and the Dementia Caregiver Support Group. So some of the exciting new initiatives we've had at LifePath. This past year, we partnered with our sister agency, Greater Springfield, and wrote a grant to have our staff at Bay State Franklin and Bay State Springfield. And what our staff is doing is they're meeting with residents or patients that have been admitted to the hospital and working on putting in the referrals before they get discharged. This is to help carry out less time to get access to the programs. We also have the Community Transition Liaison. This is a new program as of July, and it puts one of our staffs in the 4 nursing homes in our area. And the goal is to meet with residents and discuss what are any complex issues that's preventing you from being discharged into the community, and trying to give more attention to helping people transition home. The 4 nursing homes in our area, we have Quabbin, that's in Athol, and then we have Charlene Regal Care and Greenfield Rehab located in Greenfield. And our community transition liaison is on site once a week at each facility. And this was mainly created because we were seeing a lot of people that were being admitted to the nursing home as a result of COVID and the pandemic, and to really helping assist with these complex issues like housing, access to mental health, and whatever other barriers people are going through. And then also we have the new engagement center in Sunderland. And so I spoke about this a little bit in the beginning. We did just get awarded the Benefit Enrollment Center, which is a 20-month grant. And we're able to help with Mass Health, the Frail Elder Waiver Applications, which is a Mass Health waiver program for anyone in the home care program, fuel assistance, and SNAP. We are able to extend this into Hampshire County and help with some of the people that we see over our line. So a lot of the times we get the question, how can we get connected to LifePath? You can visit our website. It was recently redone, and outlines all of our programs on the website. And you can actually make a web referral right on the website. You can email us at info@lifepathma.org, and that will come right to me, and I'll connect you with a resource consultant to give you a call. Or you can call LifePath directly and ask to speak with a resource consultant. Do you have any questions? Yeah. Yep. Janice?
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
okay, I wasn't sure. One of the things I learned recently, and I kind of lost track of where I learned it, is that if I look at the website, and I have a lot, my impression is I just have to live in Franklin County and I can get these services. But I understand you have to join LifePath to get some of these services, and I don't know what's involved in that. And I says,
Yeah.
a lot of other people aren't in Shutesbury either.
Yeah, so it really depends on the type of program that you want. You can be involved in multiple programs in one. Some are long-term, some are short-term. Most of the times I really try to push the options counselors, because they're the ones that can really go into the community and talk with people at their homes or by phone and discuss all the programs in length to see what might fit best for that person. And if it's nothing we can help with, they can try to match them with other resources in the community.
So Patty, to connect with that, would they first have to connect to LifePath, those three ways you said, either web referral or email or calling?
Yeah, if anyone calls in, you'll be connected to our resource consultant. In most cases, you'll probably have to leave a voicemail just because of the volume of calls we get. But that phone call should be answered within 24 to 48 hours.
Mhm.
Yes.
Patty, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So can anybody get any service? Although I understand some are reserved for people who are in mass health, but like the home care, I'm not in mass health and other insurances. But I take advantage of that system, it would be a copay for me.
Yeah, so anyone that isn't on mass health, we would look at your income, and the state gives us guidelines on what your copay would be. In some cases, what we're able to do is we can do a copay adjustment if the cost is too high, and we can knock it down a couple brackets. The state really, in their guidelines, gives us a range. So you fall within a certain range, and you either have a flat rate fee or you have a percentage, but it depends if you're like a one-person household versus a two-person household.
So basically, except for the things that are restricted, any of us could get any of these services, but something we might have to pay for.
Yep.
That really helps. Thank you.
Yeah, and so just to highlight our options counseling, healthy living, caregiver support, and the Meals on Wheels, those are all free. So anyone can get them from no cost. The Meals on Wheels will probably send a donation letter and request, but that's optional.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks, Patty.
So Patty, I have a question. So under clinical services, mental health outreach, can you describe that for us?
Yeah, so that can really look like a lot. So some of the cases that we've seen, we're able to help with hoarding, or anyone that is going through any depression or anxiety. Our MHOT workers do go out to the community, and it really is a short-term program to try and get people access to long-term goals. So whether that's trying to connect someone to a long-term counselor, and kind of what we're seeing is um, a lot of practices have a long wait for um, therapists of any age. So we're able to kind of help short term to try and get people access to that.
So you can advocate for them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Jeanette.
The Sunderland Care Center, what does that look like? I mean, how, is it open all the time? Can people just walk in?
Yeah, so you can visit there. We have a program director that's there on site. We do contract with the Care Collaborative. So the actual facility is the Care Collaborative, but we have the program director and staff that are there assisting with support groups and working on activities for any of the consumers. It is less hands-on needs and more of the social emotional assistance.
Okay. Hi. Can you talk about transportation? What LifePath offers for transportation?
Sure. I will say a lot of communities, transportation is one of the weaker parts. We have our Rides for Health program, which does match you with a volunteer to assist with medical appointments. This is mainly for clients that are already on our home care program, but if you're eligible, then we'll try and talk about home care so that you can get access to this program. So this trained volunteer would meet you at your house, pick you up for the appointment, and drop you off, wait for you, and then drop you home.
And is that with is that a volunteer?
Yes. Yep.
And that's the person's own car?
Yep.
And is there a van, a handicapped accessible van?
No, there's no van. We do contract with the FRTA and a couple other I think Gamma also. So if you're in our home care program, sometimes we're able to cover the cost for that if we can bill it in the care plan. But also through the FRTA, if you're a LifePath client, then you do have access to use some free rides.
Question for you. I think so you said it's a 2 hour for the program in Sunderland. Patty, you said it's 2 hours. So how do they organize that? I mean, do you have to call in, kind of get a time slot?
Yeah, so the first step would be to call in and talk to our resource consultants. Most of the time, we'll connect you to the program director so she can discuss the program a little more in depth and what she offers.
Okay.
It is pretty limited just because of the need. But the program director will kind of walk through what's to be expected.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
So the Greenfield program that you mentioned, that provided almost a full day, it seemed, if it's without, yeah, I can't think of the name of the
I think it was Gardner VNA.
It
oh,
was
okay.
GVNA. Gardner Visiting Nurses Association.
Did they run a program that Mary Lisa's husband went to?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
That's a great program.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of what we're hoping with with the community engagement center is we were hoping to kind of fill in a lot of the blanks that left. But it is a temporary grant that we are able to get. So we're hoping that the state will kind of see the need for it and
Mhm.
expand. But that's kind of the reason it's a little on the um smaller days side.
Gotcha.
Mm. Mm.
Any other questions? This was great.
So this during the fall at some point we got some calls from people. One from a person whose mother was in the hospital and who needed a medical, what do you call it? A medical advocate. And I was told that LifePath has medical advocates for people. Is that something that
Yeah,
is going
so
on now, or?
yeah, so that program started during COVID and we've recently revamped it, but we are accepting referrals and um we would match the client with a trained advocate. Most of these advocates are like nurse practitioners, nurses, um, someone in the medical field that would be able to go with them to their appointments and kind of explain what's happening, and kind of be a listening ear to help.
Mhm. So if this were to happen and this would be a child of the person in need, the child would call LifePath and ask to speak to a consultant and then try and set something up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will say, sometimes with our volunteer-based services, there can be some of a wait just because we're matching people with volunteers.
Mhm.
And we have to have the volunteers available. I will say, we have a new volunteer director at LifePath that's doing a lot of recruiting, specifically in the North Quabbin area. So we're hoping to get more volunteers out in that area.
So
Thank
this,
you.
pardon me, Patty, so that's a volunteer. The trained medical advocates are volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
Interesting. Any other questions?
Patty, could you let us see your send us your slides?
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll send it right when I log off.
Great.
Mhm.
It's been really helpful, Patty. A lot.
Very helpful.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you do have any questions on LifePath, just give us a call. A lot of our services have changed and are evolving. We are writing a lot of grants in, so we're getting like a lot of temporary programs in trying to help with all like the gray areas that we're seeing, but everything does change. So so if you ever have any questions, just give us a call. And I will say all our resource consultants, they know all their stuff. So
Mhm.
they're really the ones to go to.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. I don't know what our disappeared.
Hmm?
Yeah, she might have just lost her. A lot of wind. Patty, this was actually the second time I've seen this presentation, and it was great this time, and I feel like it even
Mm.
filled in some gaps you had presented to Village Neighbors a while back.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
We do.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oop, we're losing everybody.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
Oh, wait.
shall we,
I have to
is
add-
Martha coming back?
oh, I
I
have to
can,
add somebody. Probably Martha. Somebody just appeared in the waiting room. Yep. Martha.
Hi there, my apologies. My computer died.
Hmm.
So is Patty still with us?
No,
Nope.
she left.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. So, thank you. My, all right. So, was that helpful?
Oh, yes. Thanks, Martha.
You're
Mhm.
welcome. All right, so next on the agenda is, let's see, financial report.
Shouldn't we do?
Mhm. The minutes.
Oh, except, correct, the minutes. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
From
It was-
February.
And
All
I
right.
will. I did not send everybody a revised version because there's only one correction, which is at one point I referred to Janet Gray as JS instead of JS.
Okay,
The version that the official version that you'll get will be corrected.
okay, all right.
And I also should say that I included in there a question which Joanne answered for me, which really part of the minutes, but it struck me all of a sudden. Hey, couldn't we, Shutesbury, couldn't we purchase transportation to go out of county to go over to say Cooley Dick? And Joanne said, yeah.
Apparently, yes. Again, this is, I believe, a volunteer driver program. So it depends on whether the volunteers are available
Okay.
to drive. And that's an FRTA, Franklin Regional Transit Authority program, not a LifePath program,
Right.
just to
But-
clarify.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
It should be. If you look on the FRTA website, it delineates all the different programs, and you can see what's there and available. So that was a question that Susan had marked in red, and the answer to that question is yes.
But since it's not officially part of the minutes, I will take it out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it needs to
Okay.
be, I guess, and add it to this meeting.
Any other discussion on the minutes? Shall we
No.
take a vote on approving the minutes for February 2024?
Yes, please.
I so move. Bernhardt.
Barbara, okay,
We have to
I
second.
second it. I second the motion
Mhm.
to accept the
Okay.
minutes for February 2024.
Roll call vote. Bernhard, aye.
Barbara, I.
She's muted.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
Stockton, I hope I'm not muted. Okay.
Okay.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving onward, the financial report for March. So the
Mhm.
the balance statement for March. So we have $4,761.43 as a balance from last month. I hope I'm saying all of this with the correct verbiage.
Mhm.
Foot care for this month was $176, which means that we have an unspent balance of $4,585.43. And the remainder available to be spent is $1,559.43.
After the things that we've already pledged have been removed.
Correct, such as the classes and publishing the Gazette and foot care clinic.
Mhm.
And then Joanne got word that the second half of the grant money has been distributed.
Mhm. That amount was already figured into the budget.
Okay. So moving, all right. Next on the agenda, I have mine on, I lost my computer. I'm on my phone now. So the next issue is the Gazette, I do believe. Discussion of the
Mhm.
Gazette. So the present edition of the Gazette, the draft, as I had sent out, is 12 pages long. And so the amount of the cost of that is I can find it. I'm sorry, it was roughly
I got it.
900.
I got it, Martha. It's $988.
Thank you. $988. And then, so that's the 12 pages. So as I had sent out that email, that was more than we had previously budgeted for. So the discussion point was, do we keep it at 12 pages? Do we think about reducing it to 8 pages? And the third question in my email was the fact that the direct service, Adam's direct mailing service never charged us for the Gazette from was it last spring or was it last fall? So
Last spring.
last spring. So,
Mhm.
you know, they apologized and they asked us if we would consider possibly paying all of it, some of it. So,
Mhm.
that's what we need to discuss now. And we'll also talk about the updating of the street list that Joanne spent a healthy amount of time making the appropriate adjustments. Would you like to speak to that first, Joanne?
Sure. Last year we had, if these numbers are, I don't have them in front of me, but last year we ended up with 489 residences to mail to. And this was after Linda and I had spent a great amount of time trying to put together couples, because we only got listings of individuals. And as you know, these days, a lot of people don't share the same last name. So it's not necessarily easy to put couples together. Luckily, Linda, as the administrative secretary at that time, knew a lot of people, so she was able to do that. And we worked together to whittle the list down from somewhere probably around 600. This year, Martha had asked Grace for the list, the street list. What we needed to know, first of all, which people had passed on, which people had moved out of town, which people had moved into town, and all the people who had newly turned 55, which were people born in 1969. As it turned out, Grace gave us a list of 805 people, 38 pages, which was individual listings by birth date with the street address. So what I had to do, and as it turned out, it was not just people who had turned 55 in 1969. The list had not been updated for 3 years. So there were 3 years worth of new people that we had to add in. So I had to go back and take out all the people who were deceased. The people who had moved out of town were simply not there. There was no notification of who had moved out of town. There was no notification of the people who had moved into town, except that their names appeared. So I had to go line by line, looking at every person, every couple, and doing so a lot by address. It took me over a week of like sometimes 3 or 4 hours a day to do this. And I did the best I could to put couples together. So we ended up with 659, I think, 659 individual residences that we would mail to. It probably would be fewer than that if we knew more about who the couples were. But I had to go actually and look at the addresses of everyone and to see. And the addresses were not necessarily listed. The addresses were listed by owner, not by the people who actually lived there. So sometimes the owner was the person living there, and sometimes the owner was a landlord. So it was kind of hard to figure out what was going on. I find this to be unsustainable. I hope we can find a different way of doing it, because it just took an awful lot of time. And I don't know how to do it better. If anyone has any ideas, please think it over for next time around.
Joanne, I really appreciate the amount of work you put in. Is it not possible for Grace to give us the voting list? Because that's listed by street numbers. You can see who lives in the same house right away.
But it's not it's not by age.
No, but there's got to be some way to combine those two things, I would
Well,
say.
Martha, did you say Grace was saying they're going to get new software?
Yeah, I asked Grace, because they couldn't, the list that she gave us did not have people who had left town, and her comment was they're getting a new computer system this spring, so she will oh, I know. She said, I asked her for if she could email it to me, and she said, you won't be able to read it. And I said, well, she said, but we are getting a new computer system that will have enhanced ability to electronically read lists.
One of the other difficulty is when we give the mailing list to Adams Direct Mail Services, it has to be in the format that it appears on the envelope, on the address on the envelope. So for instance, the one we had was in an Excel sheet. the one Grace gave us was not in an Excel sheet. So all of those new things had to be added into the list that we had done before. I tried to pull it up by street, but the problem was because the street number comes first, it wouldn't, you couldn't just pull it up by address because it came up with number 1, number 10, number 11, number 110. So it didn't work to try and get the street addresses so that you could see if there were duplicate people at street addresses. And maybe somebody knows how to do this. I'm sorry, I don't. My skills don't go that far. But maybe we could ask Gail Flypacker or someone to help us with that. You know, someone who knows better how to manipulate the data. You know, to get more clarity. Anyway, that's the mailing list.
That's a good suggestion. And thank you, Joanne, for doing all of that. Wow.
Well, I'm passing it on to whoever will take it over.
It's probably, this is Fabry here. It's probably worth having another conversation with Grace to find out what the new computer system would offer, and can we end up sorting for these various factors that we need for publishing the Gazette.
Yeah.
Gail is a good idea too.
What's that?
I think this is Millinger. Talking with Gail that Joanne suggested is a good.
Right. Does someone want to follow up on that?
Well, I mean, talking with Gail about numbers, it needs to be somebody who really understands the number situation. And I mean, I guess I could take a stab.
This is Bernhardt. Do you want to wait and see what the new system can do?
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this is Fabry here. I can ask Grace what the potential would be to be able to sort for age and get a cleaner list.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could say residence first and then age, or vice versa. And get the voting, get the voting list residents, because this pretty obvious there who's living with whom.
Yeah, if there's a way to kind of cross-check those, those lists.
Yep.
All right.
I'm wondering, Stockton here, I'm wondering if there's a way to share with Grace the endless work you did on this, so that she can also see the issue, but also so she has that data. So as people move in and out, and maybe somebody would be motivated enough to try to use that list to help us out.
Well, the list now is unfortunately it's kind of garbled, because I had the old list that the Excel list that I updated, and then I had to add in and in the old list there were over 100 new people, and then there were about 100 new people that had to be added on, and they're added on to the end of the list. So it's not a very clean looking list at this point. We'll see what Adams says, because they have to run our Excel sheet list through some kind of other program that they have, which may catch some of these things. I'm not exactly sure what they do.
Right.
But for the next issue of the Gazette, it would be good if this could be solved.
Right. All right. Any other additional questions on the mailing list? All right, so let's talk about the Gazette. How shall we proceed with the next edition?
This is Bernhardt. Can I ask that we do one thing first before we do that? And that is the issue that Adams Direct Mail Services didn't bill us for the entire I think they billed us for part of it, but not all of it. Martha, am I right with that?
Um,
The number that you gave was $282.80. That was only for the printing, not for the whole thing.
right, right.
So if we take their two, the two figures that Adams gave us, the one for 8 pages was $804. And if you add the 282 onto it, it comes out at 1,086. The 12-page edition was 988, plus the amount left over from last year brings us to 1,270. And I did some math on all of this. If we do 8 pages with the figure that they gave us and with the additional amount, we're going to end up with about $1,000 left over. If we do the 12-page version, we're going to end up with about $870 left over. So part of I think the discussion, we might want to look at how much we want to have left over. Susan?
Okay, I understand that in the amount of money that we have set aside as being already set aside, there's $800 for this issue. So
Right.
we are only talking about an extra 188 and 282. Right?
Yes.
Okay, 188 and 282 and 17. So that's $470 if I added correctly. That's a lot less scary than 1,000 something.
No, it's if what we had left over after the foot clinic bill was 1,300 about 1,340.
But that's leaving aside. We've already left aside. Martha said we left aside the things we put getting to 1,559.43. That we will, that's 800 that we've already put aside for one issue of the Gazette, and there's money in there for the program, exercise programs. So we're not talking about the whole 1,200 odd. We're talking about
No.
what addition to the 800 we've set aside already.
Right.
So I guess let's just, for a starter, I would say going for the full 12-page issue and paying them something now for the bill they didn't charge us, and then we'll pay more if we have left over at the end of the summer, or we'll put it ahead in next year. Because we might be able to pay. It's $282. We could pay all of it now, or we could pay some of it now. Since it's their error, I don't think having it to wait a while is going to hurt them. Okay, so that was just my starting suggestion. Millinger here. What's anybody else think?
Right here. One thing we could do is, since we have a new fiscal year coming in July, and I believe, I don't know the proper terminology, but I think we can spend some of that new fiscal year money before we actually get it. We could take the I'm sorry, I'm blanking on what the binder, whatever we call it, peace of mind binder. We could we could print that separately later on. It's not like a time crucial thing that has to be in now. So it could be a 4-page or even another 8 if we can pull it off. It could be a separate Gazette. It could be easily repackaged visually to look like a Gazette. and have that information and then just run the 8 pages without it this time. I don't know. That's a clumsy solution, but it was the only thing I could come up with. What concerns me though is that of those 4 pages that the binder now takes up, at 14-point type, which could be dropped, but we're not going to save 4 pages. Is that I was asked to include telling people to sign up for Code Red and also for Town Announce, and that takes up a half a page at the moment. And so if we want that in whatever the next Gazette is, some things are going to have to move around or get shortened. Anyway, that's all I have to offer.
This is Bernhard. I'm wondering if people have read the whole thing.
I didn't
Yep.
read.
No?
I did.
Okay. I'm questioning, first of all, I want to thank Janice for all the work that she has put in on this. And apologize that we didn't give better guidance with, what priorities might have been. I think that the article that came from the new director of LifePath, is that Gary Eucharist, I frankly don't think that people are going to be interested in that. It's not really personally relevant. And his writing style is very dense, and frankly, I was reading it and I got really bored. And I don't think that I think we have a problem with people reading things anyway. And I don't think that particular piece is going to be very helpful. So my feeling would be that we eliminate that and drop the whole thing down to 8 pages, putting the peace of mind binder in the middle with pages 3, 4, 5, 6, drop the font size and see if we can't get it into 8 pages. And that's my opinion, and I'll be quiet now.
This is Faber here. I don't think I'm muted.
No.
Okay. I think that I question whether the article about LifePath, similar to what Joanne has to say, would be particularly helpful. I think having at a later point, having some descriptions in terms of these are the services, this is how you can access them, this is how you can call and get registered for LifePath, as opposed to the article by the new director of LifePath. So yeah, if we could take that out, and then it would be a smaller edition. And I think the point that Susan made is well taken, is that we previously had budgeted some money for the Gazette. So, it is there in the budget. We wouldn't be excessively overspent.
Susan.
Okay, I hate to complicate matters, but if we're putting out considerably more gazettes than we did the last time, the bill's going to be higher.
We only put out one.
No, I mean for numbers of the issue size. If we're sending to 659 different individual references and we spent to 489 last year, we'll be paying more for a larger output.
This is Faber here. And Joanne, correct me if I'm wrong. as I CC'd you, my note to Ken at Adams Direct Mail, we provided him the numbers of the numbers of the Gazette copies that we would need.
Oh, good. Is the
Correct?
number that Joanne came up with? The 659?
Yes.
And so what did he, so the 988 reflects,
The ink, the 988, I'm sorry, my computer died on me. I do
Okay.
believe
The
that
988 would be for 12 pages for 659.
oh, good. Okay, good.
Okay. I think last year, I think we may have budgeted for 2 gazettes for this year for $800.
No,
I'm not sure. When we did the budget last July, and we put in $800, it may have been for 2 issues.
I don't think so.
No?
No. Because we were pleasantly surprised that the 8-pager was only $800. I don't know. I don't remember, frankly, but I know
Mhm.
that we might have said, okay, we could do 2 4-pagers. But even that might be incorrect now that we know that there was an error on Adam's part in billing us last spring.
I think it's less a question of money and more a question of content.
Okay, so I thought I read the whole, Millinger, I thought I read the whole thing, but I don't believe I read this piece that you're talking about from the, from somebody at LifePath. And how long is that piece?
I can check. I don't have a printout right now, but I can look at the file. Is that draft as of 27th? It's a little, it's okay, so right now it's about 1, 2, about 2 1/3 pages
Oh, wow.
article from LifePath.
Wow.
Mhm.
And my question is this, I was told, say something, grab something from their website about their new age and dementia friendly Franklin County and North Quabbin Regional Action Plan. So you can find it on the website, and I made it, and actually said in the article, you can find it on the website. But I am not in a position right now to rewrite this whole thing and make references. And
Mhm.
so if someone else wants to do that, they're welcome to. I'm
Mhm.
trying to work on the town newsletter.
Right. This is Favre here. I appreciate all the work that you've done, Janice, and I'm not, I don't think at this point we need to find more information about LifePath to put into it. How
Okay,
difficult
but-
would it be to, if we took out that LifePath article? Is that
But we would still be more than 8 pages.
okay?
Well, and if we were to take out the binder and take out this piece from LifePath, then it would be too short for a 4-page,
Mhm.
would it?
I don't know. I think it would be like 6, which we can't do.
Mhm.
So it'd be too long for a 4, too short for an 8. Maybe. I don't know.
We could do the binder again in the middle, as you suggested, Janice, back when we were first talking about this. So that it can be removed and kept by people. And do one of the interviews of either Sarah Fisk or Nan in a different issue.
I'm not answering because I'm scrolling.
Okay.
The two interviews together took up about 3 pages,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe more, actually. Sorry. 2, 3. Yeah, about 3.5 pages.
Mm-hmm. So if the binder is in the middle, all we have really left is 3 pages, right? After you use the half on the back for mailing and the banner on the top.
It's going to take me a while to figure this out.
Hmm.
You can't ask me to do it right now.
Okay. Janice, I'm happy to work with you on this. But that depends on what people think about 8 versus 12 pages.
I didn't, Stockton here. Am I muted or am I good?
You're
You're
fine.
good.
Okay. It seems like there's 2 numbers that are extra. The first is that little bit that Ken forgot to charge us from last year, which personally I think we should pay because we want them to still stick around. And I know that they are right to the bone. And they do a great job and they're wonderful people. So I think whether we pay it in installments or not, I think we should try to honor that. But looking between the 8 and the 12, what is the differential again? Like $100 and something dollars, rather than making Janice have to redo this whole thing and cut. Why don't we just cut our losses and just publish it as it is? It seems like it's so little that we're spending, it's going to be hours for Janice to redo it. If she
Days.
was charging us, it would be 10, 6 times more by the hour. So I think it's not like we don't have the money unless I'm missing something.
You're not missing anything.
This is Faber. We do have the money. That, that probably makes the most sense. I mean, maybe people, it's a ton of work, I'm sure, for Janice, and the binder's there, they can pull it out. If they choose not to read the Life Path article. But, a lot of work has gone into it thus far, so. And it's
Jessica,
100.
did you read it? Jessica, did you read it?
Jessica, you're muted.
I read parts of it. I read about the nurse and the foot care nurse and then the town nurse. I didn't read the Life Path because I'm so versed in Life Path that I just skipped that part.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked for them, and then I also used them with my mom and my gram. So
Mm-hmm.
really, I know so much about them. I don't know. I don't know how much do people know about Life Path to begin with, I guess would be the question I would ask, and if it would be helpful information for anybody. Or like you said, you just got kind of bored and kind of like dropped out from it.
The thing is, this article was written by the new director, and he was talking about I think it was the age and dementia friendly program that came out of the survey that was done. So it's not really talking about Life Path services at all.
Okay.
It's talking about this initiative that they want to get going.
Right.
And it had a lot of information about data collection and that kind of thing, but not about the Life Path services.
Right. So a lot of people would probably just kind of fall out from even reading it, I bet. I don't know.
Mhm.
Janice Gray here. I think the reason we talked about including something like this, and by the way, I shortened his article quite a bit, is that we had this whole brouhaha, lots of publicity about here's this survey, please fill it out. Blah, blah, blah. And then that was last year. And then we haven't said anything about it. And so that was the idea, I believe, that, so we've taken all this information from all these towns, including ours, and now there's an action plan. And I don't quote the action plan so much. In fact, I said you can find it on the LifePath website. But it's more about, and then then I was asked to have a separate box about how the AARP has recognized Shutesbury among the individual communities included in the plan and got a certificate. I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, it could be shortened some more, but the reason was we had this whole, excitement or asking people to fill out this survey and send it in or do it online, and then nothing ever was heard about it again in the Gazette.
It would be, I mean, I'm not asking you to redo it, but I'm thinking that maybe the next issue we could have the action plan in it. Which
The
is a
action
little,
plan is many, 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 many pages.
well, not the survey that they give. That's not very long. So, but I think in the future it might be helpful, might be useful. Jessica, we've talked about the fact that a lot of people in town don't seem to know about LifePath.
Right.
Wow.
And in fact, it might be kind of interesting for either you to write about yours or for one of us to interview you about your experiences.
I would be more than I used them. I used them for numerous years with my mom and my gram, and I also work. Well, I not currently have any clients through them, but I have worked with people in town and out of town through them.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Know about.
Hmm.
You're muted now, Joe.
Now am I?
Yeah, nope, you're unmuted.
Okay, sorry. I'm so bad at this. I think that's an awesome idea and it makes it really personal. And we could do some kind of just a listing of those services, even, and the action plan is online, I believe. So we could have a link to that action plan because it is voluminous. It's many, many, many pages. It's excellent, but it's
Shortened
a lot.
form that they
Oh.
sent us.
Right.
There's a-
Mhm.
They did a published packet explaining all of their, the points and what they were going for with coming from those answers. And I'm also thinking with all these new people in town, as we look at this list and make all these people that are moving into town, they probably aren't going to know what it is. So maybe we just keep the boring interview. And it's a response, it's a reminder of what happened with that questionnaire. And people read it or they don't. And then next Gazette, we present more information, maybe in a more interesting way. And I think a very personal, there's a reason why you want to, I read the foot nurse and the other nurse myself. It's like we like to read about people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So it's 6:53.
Okay, I want to propose we do as Jeanette suggested. We have printed a 12-page issue and we start to work on a repayment schedule for the money they didn't charge us by accident.
Well, we have the money. We can pay them now.
Well, it depends on whether we would rather do something else with the money. But yeah, sure, we could pay him that. That's fine with me.
We did get the services. He just forgot to charge us.
Yeah, that's a big forgetting. Yes.
Right.
I agree with you completely. Need to repay him. I'm just, if we wanted to save money to do something, some other things in the remaining months of this fiscal year, we might just want to pay him $100, say, now.
Well, he has to invoice. The difference between the 8 and the 12 page is $188. $184 plus the 282 is, I think it's like 470. If we do that with the 12 pages, we end up with 800 and just my quick calculations right before the meeting, so it may not be exactly accurate. We end up with about $870 for the rest of the year. That's enough to do something with. If we want to do another smartphone program, that was only $100 for the smartphone program. Or we could support the museum passes or something like that. I mean, it's enough to do something with. Not a lot, but something.
Martha's report said that we had $15.59 plus those 43 cents that I wish somebody would sell.
That was after the foot clinic bill. I mean, that was before the foot clinic bill came in.
No, it was, no, that was, no, we started the month with 4,760. That was, and the foot clinic of 176 came out of that. So we had, remainder to be spent was 1559.43.
So we'll have over 1,000 if we pay for the 12 issue and we pay him the 282 we owe him.
282. So 94 and 282.
I can't wrap my mind around it.
I guess the question is, does it need to be voted on? We pay?
Yeah. Why don't we vote on that? See how people think, Martha.
Yes. Do we have a motion to vote on?
I move.
Publishing 12. Okay. Do we have a second?
Do we have a second?
Second.
I don't know what the motion is. I didn't hear it.
The motion is to publish a 12-page issue of the Gazette and repay Adams Direct the 282 that we still owe him.
Okay, thank you. So,
Hey.
cut out.
I second the motion.
Who seconded?
Barbara seconds the motion. to
Jeanette
publish
did.
Okay.
12 page.
Okay, roll call vote. Bernhardt, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Gray eye.
Millinger, aye.
Stockton, so I.
Barbara, can I add, well, we have 3 minutes left. In terms of additional program, I had contacted Barbara Friedman, the woman who taught the smart course, the smartphone program, to see if she had any availability possibly in May. And she's offering us another class, a smartphone session 2, and it would be $100. So
You have a date yet?
yes, we do. May 1 or May 3, and I've saved those dates at Town Hall.
Okay. Wow.
Gray
Great.
here. We try to put that in the 12-page Gazette. We could. You know, I can shorten some stuff, but we already talked about the smartphone class in there. I have to be at another Zoom meeting in 2 minutes, by the way, and I apologize for that.